Hello everybody, my name is Tariq, I'm 23 years old medical student and today I'd love to share with you my testimonial about P-memory. So last year I was trying to find some method to improve my bad memory and I eventually found P-memory, but I felt that it was a scam and I was very skeptical about it and I kept ignoring it until during the summer I was convinced by testimonials and members and talking to instructors. I was convinced and made the decision of trying it. So I finished it during one summer, and the results were marvelous. It makes you an entirely different person. It makes you feel that you're smarter, you're sharper, you're more focused, and more productive in your tasks. If you still don't believe me, go check Memory Champions. None of them were born with these skills. They succeeded with, and they essentially learned methods and techniques similar to those taught in P memory. Now you might tell me, but wait, I have a friend who memorizes stuff really easily. I'm gonna tell you this. Um, this course will put you on an entirely different level compared to them. It's a promise. So, back to me. Um, I'm someone who always hated memorization. Whenever I had to sit for an exam, I'd start preparing for it for weeks before. I needed to repeat again and again the text until I felt confident about it. And then I'd sit for the exam, I'd ace it, and 1 week later I barely know 30% of the material I studied. Now, this used to piss me so much because I knew that I'm gonna forget what I'm studying, and I was spending sleepless nights for the sake of the exam. Um, so when I started learning P memory and I finished the first half, I implemented it in my studies, and boom, the results were great. I felt that I had an SSD in my head, like a flash drive in my head. I knew my text really well. I'd memorize it easier. It does take some effort in the beginning, but once you get used to it, it becomes a second nature. Um, just give me any name of a disease, a drug, or any medical term that I studied, and I'm gonna start recalling everything I know about it. And then once I finished the second half, which was basically polishing and training this skill, I also learned some Russian. I developed the ability to memorize books, and actually, I borrowed one book from my local library. It's called Rapid Interpretation of ECG. We basically learn how to interpret these ECGs, and now this is a very tough area for students. Um, um, it's a challenging because it's a critical thing, and we need to know it on the fly when we're dealing with real patients. Reading this book and memorizing it made me confident about almost 90% of common ECGs. I'd easily interpret them because I feel that I have the book in my head. So you can imagine how great that is. Now, my second step is to start memorizing this book. It's called Oxford Handbook of Clinical Medicine. I'm gonna start doing that soon. And basically, this book contains so much medicine, clinical and basic stuff. So I hope that it makes me a better doctor. I really wish I knew about P memory before. It would have saved me so many hours. I would have spent these hours doing something I like, or at least studying other stuff that I would have improved in myself. So I'd like to share with you one example of how effective P memory is. For example, we have a subject called pharmacology, and pharmacology is the study where we learn um, about the drugs, when to give them, how to give them, um, when not to give them, and what they might cause. So, as it sounds, yes, it's a very hard, tough material. Most students, including me, hate it so much because you memorize the drug, and once you start memorizing the next one, you will forget the first one. So when I started P memory, I reached to lesson number 10, and I thought, why not try it in pharmacology, because it's a really tough subject. And I tried memorizing a couple of drugs, um, and since 2 months I haven't opened the textbook again, and I still remember it like I've done it since 5 minutes. For example, leuprolide, it's a GnRH agonist. It's given for uterine fibroids, for endometriosis, for precocious puberty, for infertility. If you were a medical student, you'll know how great that feeling is to start reciting this information that easily. So yes, you can see how effective it is. I think P memory is a must learn course because it's a skill. Um, Memory isn't a gift, it's basically a skill. And without this good memory, you'll spend your life learning stuff at a slower pace while you could have learned it much faster. And after you learn something, you need to store it in your brain. You can't simply learn and then forget. You have to store it in your brain, otherwise, you're not efficiently learning anything. So I wish someday I see it in schools and universities, because it's really bad to assess students based on their memory and grading them based on their memory, while they could have get straight A's if they knew how to do it correctly. So as you can see, I can talk all day about P memory, but I want you to believe in one thing. We're all smart. We're all different and unique in our own ways, and everything is possible if we put enough time and effort into it. So why not learn more? Be eager to learn more and reach your inner happiness. Finally, I'd like to thank all the creators of P Memory and all instructors. I can't thank them enough, because this is a life-changing skill. I'd like to thank you guys for checking out my video. I hope I hear yours. Take care and goodbye.